Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Bella here. In today's tutorial I created this really black smoky eye, and I feel like this is the perfect look for like a nighttime glam going out. Even though we still aren't really fully going out yet, I still wanted to bring back the super glam looks because I know that you guys love these looks just as much as I do. So if you want to see how I achieve the look, then go ahead and keep on watching. So the palette that I went in with is the Too Faced Gingerbread Extra Spicy palette. And this is what it looks like on the inside. I like the color selection and the pigmentation. It's actually a really good palette. I highly recommend it. And the first thing that I did is I went into this really beautiful peachy shade called In a Pinch. And I used that as my transition shade, so I just picked that up with a fluffy blending brush, and I just put that shade in my crease, just going in back and forth motions, not being too specific with this shade, just putting it in the general crease area before we go in with darker eyeshadows. Next, I went in with the shade Gingerbread Glam, which is this really beautiful light brown matte shade. And I just picked that up with a defined angled brush, and I started to create that line of definition in my crease where I want to add depth. And don't worry, we will blend it out. This is just my favorite technique because sometimes when you go in with too fluffy of a brush with a dark eyeshadow, it can kind of go all over the place. So this technique is actually perfect for beginners. So then I went back into that transition shade, and as you guys can see, I just went directly over that line, just really buffing it out, going in back and forth motions and circular motions. And then I decided to add even more depth because we are going to be going in with that black eyeshadow on the lid. So you do want your crease to kind of have that depth so that it blends all together. So I went in with the shade Cookie Call, which is a matte brown shade, but it's a little bit deeper than the previous matte brown shade that we used. And I just went directly over where we had applied that line. And it is kind of confusing because I blended that line out and then I went in and made it even more defined. But trust me, when you're working with dark eyeshadows, layering is definitely the best way to get a blended look. So as you guys can see, I went back into that transition shade and just started to layer that on top of that line just to really blend it out. And then for the lid, I decided to go in with the shade Midnight Snack, which is this really beautiful shimmery black shade, and it has like hints of blue. It's just a really beautiful shade, and I just applied that all over my lid, and I did kind of flick it out in the outer lid area. And then moving on to the lower lash line, I went into that first shade that we applied in our crease, In a Pinch, and I just started to apply that to the lower lash line. So I pretty much did the same thing that I did in my crease on my lower lash line. And then I went in with the shade Cookie Call, and I put this shade really close to my lash line, mainly focusing it on the outer corner. And then when I barely had any more product on my brush, I would just drag it inwards just a little bit. But as you guys can see, that very inner corner of the lower lash line, I did leave it bare because I don't want the eye to be closed off, if that makes sense. I have like very downward facing eyes, so I did want to kind of make them look a little bit more open, so I left that area bare. And then to blend that out, I went back into that transition shade. As you guys can see, the crease flows really effortlessly into that lower lash line. And the very last thing that I did was I applied some lower lash mascara. And yeah, this is the finished look. If you guys enjoyed it and you watched it till the end, make sure that you give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you guys never ever miss out on a video. Thank you guys so much for all of the love and support, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!